Hello and welcome to our 10 years anniversary series for HPC Systems open source. As you are probably used now, we have always someone from our community that has been driving initiatives and getting people engaged and helping us spread the word and certainly build more capabilities and a larger community around HPC. And today is no different. Today we have Dawn Tatum, who many of you already know because if you've been involved in any of the activities that the HPC Systems open source community has done with Kennesaw State University, you have seen her with her fingers in the stuff there. So hello, Dawn, and thank you very much for joining us.
Hello, Flavio, and thank you for inviting me to be a part of this wonderful, occasion. 10 years is a long time, and it's exciting.
It is absolutely, yeah, it's 10 years. But also, I think Kennesaw State University has been one of the first ones that got involved with the community. So it's probably close to 10 years there too, with this
Yes,
initiative.
probably, yeah.
So, Don, how did you get initially engaged with HPC Systems? How did you get to engage with us or with Trish? And what was the initial experience there?
Well, I think the very first time that I became aware of HPCC Systems was when I got contacted by Trish to do a talk at our campus and a little workshop. So we actually set up a workshop on campus, and it was kind of a learn HPCC systems in like 2 hours or less kind of thing. And so it was Trish, and I don't even remember all who came, but all the people that were there were wonderful. And I got intrigued because, of course, I was sitting in the back of the room while the event was taking place. So I was learning myself, and I found out that it was so easy to learn. I come from industry, and I started teaching later in life. So my background is IT, and I had a background in SQL, and I started seeing all these things that I could do this. So I thought it would be really easy for the students to learn and learn quickly.
That is wonderful. Yeah, and you're right. You're not the typical person in your type of role because you have all of this extra background that you came with from industry. So, Don, and what has been the experience with the students? So, as you've seen some of these activities develop, and there have been so many different activities, including hackathons and
Right.
including shows and other things. So, what was the experience with the students as they got engaged too?
So I think initially, especially what I've seen through the hackathons, is that initially the students are extremely overwhelmed because the idea of taking on a brand new open source system and in a hackathon, it's such a concentrated period of time, and they're thinking of developing a solution so they can win. And so it's a little bit unnerving to them, I think. But once they get in, and the folks at HPCC Systems do such a great job of mentoring these students. So, I mean, during the hackathons, they're there with them 24/7 and guiding them through it. And once they get through that, I would say that first initial hump of maybe an hour in, then they're hooked and they're like, wait a minute, I think I can do this. And then the students are just amazed at the fact that this exists and that they were able to, analyze data and create new solutions and find things in such a short period of time. And I think that really gets them hooked, and they feel successful. But a lot of it is due to, the people that you have there engaging with them. I mean, the mentorship is amazing that you guys provide.
Yeah, I must agree. I cannot take any credit for that. This is many other people that are involved, but I must agree that that there are people that are really putting a lot of effort to mentor students, and I think it does make a difference. That's the positive side of things, right? Because besides the technology platform, besides the open source project, it is always about people. It's always about helping them steer their careers in a positive way, and all of that effort eventually gets to fruition. People, many of those students become professionals, and eventually all of these touch their lives in a good way. So this is good. So we have done a number of activities with Kennesaw State University. For example, some of those students have been interns throughout our internship program as well. So did you get any feedback from those students as they go through these things, hackathons, internships, and other things? Do you get to see them and hear what their opinions are?
Yeah, so I think that, first and foremost, the students are very impressed just with, our students initially, whenever industry get involved, they feel a little bit intimidated, obviously so, because they're not yet into their careers. But then once they're engaged and you guys are so welcoming, and they start to feel, like they're part of the team and they can contribute, then they feel as though they're getting steered in the right direction in their careers. I can think of several interns that have been there over the summer that have, developed their research, and you guys have been so gracious in letting them, just come up with ideas and how they want to steer their research, and then guiding them along the way so that they can then present at Community Day. And it's been such a successful thing for them. And even if, some of them I think have stayed with HPCC Systems, and then some have decided to move on. But either way, you guys have made such a huge impact in their lives by giving them such a great foundation. And they are just over the moon excited. Since I'm the one that is involved in a lot of these activities, I do hear from all these students, and I still hear from them after they've graduated and they've gone out into industry, and they'll reach out to me on LinkedIn and they'll ask me about, the hackathon, and they'll ask me, is HPCC Systems still involved? And I'm like, yes, they're still involved. And so you've made a huge impact on them. And I, that's why I do what I do, is because, I think that's so important, that we steer them in the right direction.
Yeah, yes, it is. So you keep contact with some of the students over time, even after they leave?
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
that's good.
Yeah, they reach out to me. Well, I'm one of the, I guess, I'm different from because I'm also faculty. I'm different from your average faculty. I don't mind, and some faculty are like this, and some are a little more private. But, because I came from industry, I'm used to sharing my personal my office phone goes to my personal cell phone, and so, students will call me long after they've left. In fact, this week it was quite amazing. One student, I just got back from vacation, and one student was actually traveling in the same area where I was, and he was trying to figure out a way if there was a time frame that we were going to be in this around the same spot, because he wanted to meet, my husband and my family, and and just reconnect, because I haven't seen him in years. And then I had another young lady reach out to me, and she's making a huge career move, and changing cities, and just taking a change in her direction about the field of study that she's in. And and they always just reach out for advice. So I think that, me being in the situation that I'm in, it's it's a really great, and a lot of times I will tell students, about the connections that we have with current employers, and they're wanting to know who's hiring. And so it gives another opportunity to say, hey, have you thought about going back to HPCC Systems and maybe asking them if there's a role for you there? And, because it goes beyond internships, right?
Of course. That's the whole point. So there is certainly when we do any of these activities, we are not trying to force anyone to say, oh, we're going to join LexisNexis Risk Solutions or use HPCC for the rest of my life or anything like that. It's we're just opening doors and letting them learn and potentially get engaged in some open source project, which we think is very positive anyway, no matter what that open source project is. And some of them, as you said, stay and come back and join LexisNexis Risk Solutions, and they become employees and stay there for their entire lives. Others move on, but there is always that possibility that they could come back if they want. That's but above all, it is that human relationship that is established. I think that's the most important piece, right?
Right.
And I listen to you, and I'm amazed how all of those individuals come back and eventually continue to reach out to you after they finish their school and they moved on. Right? That's really interesting.
I think it's because, a lot of times I concentrate on the relationship as well. And, a lot of times students that come in, they don't know what they want to do. A lot of times they start college because they feel like that's the thing to do, but then they really have no clue as to, maybe somebody told them cybersecurity is where you make a lot of money. And so they decide to go down that path. But then they go into a hackathon and maybe they meet, they decide to do a challenge in HPCC Systems and they go, wait a minute, maybe I don't want to do cybersecurity. Maybe this
big
is
data. I said, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's all, and that's why we do all these events, right? It's a win-win all the way around. The students certainly learn a lot, and they learn a lot about themselves. And industry always learn about our students and the talent that we have. And the other thing that really, kind of strikes me, the one thing about one of the hackathons we did most recently, it might have been 2019. I think the team at HPCC Systems were really so blown away with one of the solutions that one of the teams did, because they took, they took your open source system and they looked at it in a completely different way than anybody else had, and produced a solution at the end that was just unique. And, HPCC Systems has been around for a while. So for that to happen, that's like, an enigma. But that's what young, fresh minds do. And
that's exactly it, yes.
And combine that with the foundation and the history that you guys have, and understanding of the data and everything else, then, I think it makes for a really great marriage of minds.
Yeah, it does. And you're absolutely right. So some of the biggest values of getting new people into the community is that they can take a completely different view of things. And this fresh view of things that have been there established is extremely important, because that gives you new life into a project. And HPC Systems as a platform has been around for 20 years, and yet it continues to change. And it continues to change just because we have that infusion of new blood continuously that are always challenging the boundaries, always pushing them, always trying to develop the new capability or the new function out there or the new use or application. So that's also great, because again, it keeps the community active, right? It keeps the project active, the community active, the platform becomes better. That's good. So this is great. I just don't want to make this too long, because otherwise people won't listen to the entire thing. But I thought this was a great discussion. I really enjoy working with Kennesaw myself. I think Kennesaw State University is a great university, and many of these activities are fun. Are just a lot of fun, and I think that's the bigger thing, right? That keeps pulling us into it on and on, because we really enjoy it. I think I can speak not just for me, but also for many of the other people around that are engaged with Kennesaw State and specifically HPCC Systems as the link between both, and they really enjoy it. People like, I don't know, Bahar, who is now teaching a course in Kennesaw State University, and everyone that Arjun and others have been involved with every one of the hackathons. So I think I can say that we all enjoy it. That's a good thing.
Yeah, well, we thoroughly enjoy having you a part of it too. Everyone brings their own unique personalities, and I just love to. I'd love to be engaged with you guys, because I know it's going to be a good time, a productive time, and we're all going to learn something, but also have fun at the same time. And it's just been an amazing journey, and I can't wait to see what happens in the future.
Dawn, thank you very much, and this is
Thank
great.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We'll talk later.
Bye bye.